There are hundreds, if not thousands, of incredible sports business stories, but my favorite story involves two brothers who turned a $1 million investment into $800 million as basketball team owners without ever actually owning an NBA team. It's a masterclass in leverage, long-term thinking, and the power of equity and ownership. Here's the wild story. The story starts with Ozzie and Daniel Silna. The two brothers grew up in New Jersey after their parents immigrated to the US from Latvia in the 1930s. They worked at their father's small textile business, but when he sold the company when they were in their late 20s and early 30s, they started manufacturing polyester and founded their own business. The business continued to grow throughout the 1960s and 1970s as polyester became more popular, and the two brothers used $1 million in profit to buy the ABA's failing Carolina Cougars. They immediately moved the team to St. Louis and rebranded them as the St. Louis Spirits. But here's the interesting part. The NBA got tired of competing for players and fans and decided to merge with the ABA just 2 years after their purchase. But here's the catch. Only 4 out of the 7 ABA teams were officially invited to join the NBA. That includes the New York Nets, the Denver Nuggets, the Indiana Pacers, and the San Antonio Spurs. The other 3 teams were out of luck. But for the merger to be completed, the NBA had to go and offer the 3 remaining ABA teams money to disband. Lucky for them, the team from Virginia went bankrupt right before the merger and a deal wasn't required. But the 2 remaining teams, the Kentucky Colonels and the St. Louis Spirits, were offered a similar $3 million buyout to officially disband. The Kentucky Colonels accepted, but the St. Louis Spirits held out for more. So now that the St. Louis Spirits were the only team standing in the way of an NBA and ABA merger, the Silna brothers knew they had leverage and negotiated one of the best business deals in sports business history. Eventually, the Silna brothers negotiated a deal that included a $2 million cash payment up front, but it also included a clause that contractually obligated them to receiving 1/7 of all TV money that was ever made by the 4 ABA teams that were now joining the NBA. Even better, the contract was in perpetuity. The Silna brothers were collecting checks that were worth about $200,000 at the beginning, but as the NBA grew in popularity, so did the size of their checks, and they received an annual check worth nearly $20 million in 2014 alone. In total, they collected about $300 million from 1976 to 2014. So why did the annual check stop coming in 2014? Well, the NBA went to go renew its TV rights deal, and they decided it was officially time to settle the deal with the Silna brothers. And that included a $500 million buyout, bringing their total haul to about $800 million in total from 1976 to 2014. But this might be the craziest part of the entire negotiation. Donald Shupak served as the Silna brothers' attorney on the deal and negotiated himself a 10% fee. That means he received nearly $80 million from one client on one negotiation more than 45 years ago. That's absolutely wild. Ultimately, I love the story for one simple reason. The Silna brothers and their attorney didn't blink when presented with a good deal. Instead, they had the ability to think long-term, understood the importance of ownership, and held out for a great deal. And that ended up being worth about $800 million.